Hello, my name is Heather Mackey. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today we are talking about embracing fear. It is my constant intent on a daily basis to embrace the all that is. The concept of love and fear, the concept of light and shadow, of ebb and flow, have been dancing since the dawn of the space-time delusion. They've been dancing around here. That's why, the yin-yang symbol remains so consistently present and valued by the consciousness of mankind, because it truly embodies that those two qualities are always present, and there's a little bit of the all in the all. There's a Nawabian prayer that I say a lot, which is Kol Zu fi el kalam. All is in the all. And I say it, if I lose an item, it's like, well, all is still in the all. It didn't just completely fly out into space. It's here somewhere, just to align my consciousness more. But another layer of that practice is just accepting that shadow, ebb, false evidence appearing real, fear, sadness, anger are components of the all. They always have been. And they're not going to go away. There's this, and I appreciate it and have reverence for it. There's this very utopianistic, I've held it many times in my life as well, very tightly, to myself. But this utopianistic ideal that one day we're going to wake up and everyone on planet Earth is going to agree with us. If we're an environmentalist, everyone's going to start being environmental. If we believe in peace, everyone's going to start being peaceful. And what I can say about evolution is that it operates in different time frames. You don't have all species in the same amount of time evolve from this to that. It occurs in its own time span. So in that same vein, each two-legged is so diverse and so unique. Not all two-leggeds are going to evolve into the value of kindness all at one time. It's going to evolution, like our DNA being a double helix that has a spiraling quality to it. Evolution as well has a spiraling quality to it. And it can make you feel like you're running a rat race, but that spiraling quality is actually spiraling out and up and opening and expanding awareness. And so one of the things that we can be aware of as a two-legged is that there are things that we may be afraid of, things that we may avoid. Perhaps we're conflict avoidant, or perhaps we're avoiding some trauma. What I do know is that any trauma that I faced has happened, done. It's done. There's no erasing it. It's already written in the annals of time. So that being said, I can walk through life avoiding that, pushing against and resisting the trauma I've experienced. And it's a lot of work to do that. Like, don't go there. Don't think about that. Just stay positive. Just stay happy. Just find the next, And there's a beautiful quality, I want to make sure I'm heard correctly. There's a beautiful quality in being a mental alchemist and in choosing the content for one's consciousness, which is something with subliminal programming and algorithms and current marketing models. We are very conditioned to maintain a certain track of thinking. So there's great value in being empowered and saying, actually, I'm going to be the steward of my thoughts today, and I'm going to select them, and I'm going to be very conscious of where I place my attention this day. However, there are experiences every two-legged has had. There are causes that created an effect that can lead to often unconscious behavior. Often we are unconsciously behaving counter to our truth because of the trickle down effect of that trauma not being processed and it being pushed against. So what we do in our inner household is we just stop pushing against the door, and we allow the fear to come in. We go, come in here. Okay, I'm scared. So I did this. I'm actually teaching this lesson right now so that I may know it. We teach best what we most need to learn. And there's a show. I've been without TV. I've had DVDs from the library for years now, and that's how I've watched TV. Which is kind of like, okay, you've got these 5 DVDs. What do you want to watch? There's a lot of shows I've missed in the past several years. And one show that deeply touched me when I saw it many moons ago is called The OA. And I heard there was a second season. So last night I was watching it and watching the second season. But I can say the first season of that show I deeply related to. And it really felt like it was almost like a show about me and my life. Even though I wasn't imprisoned in a basement, there are so many similarities about how I've imprisoned myself to avoid trauma, because I don't like conflict, I don't like pain, I don't like negative emotion, and what kind of a prison that placed me in, and also how it caused me to be unaware of how that trauma was leaking out into my life. So I need to be sad about it. I need to be angry about it. And I'm a visual person. So I watch something that I really relate to. And I allow the conflict, the trauma, the pain, I allow it to flow through the front door, out the back door, through the front door, out the windows. Because then I don't have to continue to try to keep that door shut at all times, just trying to be peaceful and nice, and so there is a quality called, we've all had our trials and tribulations, and we can sit and complain about or avoid them or whatever that is that we tend to do, or we can take responsibility and say, okay, although I'm not the person that did this to me, I do understand sometimes doing things that are counter to my truth or counter to what I intended. I do understand what it means as a two-legged to walk in the world and not properly represent myself all the time. So perhaps that person was in a space where they weren't able to properly represent themselves. Perhaps they had a desire and they went about it achieving that desire the wrong way. So what I do know is what I've been through is not going to change. It's not going to change. What I can do is look at what I've been through, and whoever has caused me pain, I spend a lot of time praying for those people. Because, and by pray, I mean hold consciousness that their awareness expands and opens into the fullness of the love, light, and energy that exists within them, that become an easier choice for them. Because people who hurt others are hurting. So what is easy in the drama of being a human is to tell your trauma story, tell your pain story, tell your, and just get empathy and sympathy, and all two-leggeds do that. The evolution of that, the natural spiraling out and up and largeness of that, the way we evolve out of that, and I would say lifetime upon lifetime historic pattern of us ourselves offering false evidence appearing real, creating a karmic scenario where someone offers us false evidence appearing real, and then we just feel like we're on one of those little spin things you sat on as a kid to spin in circles. I love that thing. But you feel like you're just spinning in circles. The way you can halt that in its tracks is to stop blaming, projecting, attacking, vilifying, telling that story of the horrible, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. We can drop the drama of all that and understand, like, yeah, I've also not been my best self in every moment of now. And there are variations of that. And although I can't understand that behavior in this life, it's viable. I haven't always been this aware and this evolved, and perhaps I had a life in the past where I also traumatized people. So we just take responsibility and say, I'm not going to resist this anymore. I'm not going to project it onto you, because what the ego denies, it projects. I'm going to acknowledge that although this happened to me and it's quote unquote unfair, it brought a great awareness into my life. And that awareness has the capacity to empower me so that I don't stand in a victim mentality forever. Because that is, it's like going and taking shackles and binding yourself to a weighted ball and then going, okay, I'll just walk through life this way. You put them on there. Just take that off. And the way you take it off is you take responsibility. You say, for whatever reason, everything I've ever seen or experienced has been perfect and right for me. And I'm not going to resist it. I'm going to feel it. That was painful. That experience was painful. I want to forgive myself if in any lifetime I've done anything like this that caused me to have this experience. I want to forgive myself for any time in this lifetime I've done something that has caused pain in others. I'd venture to guess there are times I've caused pain in others and I wasn't even aware I was doing it. It's viable that people have hurt me, had a similar scenario. So I forgive myself. I forgive others. I come to a place of compassion and I allow myself to feel the feelings about it. Because once you stop resisting what you don't like, which is another way to say placing your powerful creative attention on that which you don't like, which then like attracts like, that's physics, Einstein would say, like attracts like, then you are given the opportunity to allow it to move through. It hurts me that I've been hurtful. It hurts me to know that I've probably been hurtful in ways I don't know. I wish I wouldn't do that. I'm going to own it. It makes me sad. It makes me sad and it makes me angry that I would be that way with other two-leggeds because I really love them. So we just process the feelings. We stop resisting because it's a tremendous amount of energy. We allow the feelings to move through. You can use visual aids, like a show or an author, or journaling can help. And then once we embrace the fear and go, yeah, I'm scared. I can be hurt. I'm scared that I'm not eternal. I'm scared that I am the body. I'm scared that I am just this ego matrix that keeps making mistakes. I'm scared that I can miss opportunities. I'm scared that whatever it is. Each person has their own paradigm. I'm scared I'll never have a sense of home. So once we embrace that, it doesn't have the weight. It's like removing those shackles. It doesn't have the weight anymore. And then we have the opportunity to rebuild and be a mental alchemist and be more attentive and more self-aware. How am I showing up? What does it look like to be me in the world? To be an observer of the self and to be hyper attentive to, is there any way that the experiences I've had, for example, lots and lots and lots of death, lots of people not being present in relationship, has led me to being an unconscious abandoner because I feel abandonment. So I can either whine about my abandonment my whole life, don't vilify it. It's been hard to be, lose family members and lose tribe. It's hard to walk that way in the world. And also not conducive to me ever having a sense of tribe, to be unaware that sense of loss causes me to preemptively choose to lose things on an unconscious level. So as I get aware, I go, okay, let's do some root chakra meditation. Let's ground in. And I can give myself that gift. Today, I invite and invoke for all of us to take a moment to sit with what we're afraid of, that it may no longer hold sway. May you be the steward of the vessel and the matrix you call you and your own evolution. Blessed be.